Hi students, I'm Sonia from Vidya Guru, starting a new session on current affairs. This session is for the month of June 2021. This session is going to be completely in English medium. Those who are not comfortable with the language, they can switch to the Hindi medium session. That is also there in the playlist. This session is short primarily for our students from South India, is short primarily for our students from Northeast India, like students from Tamil Nadu, like students from Kerala, Telangana, Hyderabad, Andhra. So I am just saying that because those students who are unable to understand Hindi well, we shoot a separate session for them so that they can gain information and knowledge from our videos. I'll start the video from here on, but before starting, I request, if you understand everything, whatever I'm teaching you, do press the like button for sure. Share the video with your friends, those who are preparing for any competitive exam. Subscribe to Vidya Guru's YouTube channel. If you do that, you'll get the notifications by pressing the bell icon, which is just beside the subscribe button. Do press the bell icon. That's how you'll receive notifications of all the exam relevant videos which we upload. I'll start the questions from here on, but if I start, please understand, if you spend around half an hour with me, this video is going to give you around 50 to 60 important questions which will be added in your exam preparation. So be careful, watch the video till the end. I'll start with GDP growth rate. If you read what is written here on the board, read it carefully, like it is written 7.3%, and if you read it like 7.3%, it is wrong. Read it carefully, it is minus 7.3%. So GDP growth for the whole financial year 2020-21, I'm referring to, minus 7.3%. The year which has passed, 7.3%, minus 7.3% was the GDP. When I talk about the last quarter, there are 4 quarters, that is why I've written it like quarter 4. Okay, whenever we talk about 31st March, we generally refer to as the financial year is going to come to an end. This is financial year closing, 31st March financial year closing. So why do we say that? Because that is basically from January to March, that is the last quarter which is written here. GDP growth rate for quarter 4 financial year 2020-21, January to March, that last quarter, was 1.6%. 1.6% for that last quarter only. Fiscal deficit has also been declared. That was for financial year 2020-21, 9.3% of GDP. So fiscal deficit, in other terms we can say budgetary loss. Deficit means loss. So fiscal deficit, budgetary loss is fiscal deficit. 9.3% of GDP, that was the budgetary loss, fiscal deficit for 2020-21. Let's move ahead. FDI inflows to India. FDI, foreign direct investment, the investment which India received from foreign sources, that is FDI. I'm saying FDI came in India, that was 10% higher, 10% more than the last year. FDI inflow to India was $81.72 billion. That is the total amount India received in 2020-21. 2021, India received the inflow from foreign nations, 81.72 billion. I am saying it is 10% higher than the last year. So read it carefully. Top investing nations have to be there, top recipient states have to be there. Earlier, I was not, teaching you top recipient states, but they are there too. So you have to learn them because they can be there in your exam. I am saying top investing nations were the first one Singapore, the second one USA, the third one Mauritius. So read them respectively. I'm saying Singapore first, second one was USA, and the third one was Mauritius. The maximum FDI received by the state, that state was Gujarat. The second one is Maharashtra and the third one is Karnataka. So the states have to be learned just like I've written them here. Let's move ahead. Now we'll talk about FIFA. When we start talking about FIFA, you need to understand we have started talking about football here. There are 3 types of FIFA which are going to be discussed. All are women, 3 of them are women. Either under 17 World Cup or Women World Cup. If you read the lower one, that is even the World Cup which is going to take place in 2023. So FIFA Under 17 Women's World Cup 2020-22 will be hosted by India, and I hope you can understand the significance of this point. Under 17 will take place in India in 2022. Under 20 will take place in Costa Rica in 2022, and Women's World Cup 2020-23 will take place in Australia and New Zealand combined. That is the main Women's World Cup. Upper ones were under 17 and under 20. So understand the difference. There are three different important points which you have to learn. RBI expands digital wallet full KYC PPI's limit to rupees 2 lakh. What was the limit earlier? That we need not know that. What is the limit right now? We need to know that. That is 2 lakh. You have digital wallets with you. I know that the limit of their wallets, has been increased, and the limit is 2 lakh now. What are PPIs? PPI, that means I'm trying to say prepaid payment instruments. Prepaid payment instruments, which indirectly can be translated into digital wallets only. That is why I've actually put a sign of an oblique over there. So either you can call them digital wallet or prepaid payment instruments. Cash withdrawal can also take place if any non-bank PPI issuer is there. Like MobiKwik, if a bank is there, I'm okay with that. I'm saying something else has happened. I've taught you something of this sort in earlier videos, but there's something, getting added here. So read that carefully. This question is going to be there in your exam for sure. It is written cash withdrawal from full KYC PPIs, prepaid payment instruments of non-bank PPI issuer. Like MobiKwik. MobiKwik is not a bank. It's a non-bank PPI issuer. I'm saying if you are using that, if you are using MobiKwik, if you wish to withdraw cash, earlier it was not possible. Now you can do that. Now you can do that. In easier terms, I can speak like that. I hope you may have understood what I'm trying to convey here. But not too much amount that you can actually, take out from that account. Maximum limit per transaction that you can take out, cash withdrawal, is just 2,000 rupees. Monthly limit has already been set to maximum monthly amount which you can withdraw from such an account, that can be maximum 10,000 rupees. That is it, just 10,000 rupees. Prepaid payment instruments, interoperability is mandatory. Interoperability, I'll actually try to convey it to you in easier terms. Like if you are using MobiKwik, I am using Paytm, or maybe I am using Amazon Pay. Earlier, we were not able to transfer money in those accounts from one digital wallet to the another digital wallet. I was not able to transact. I was not able to send money to those accounts. Now, this interoperability, such a thing is called interoperability, I am saying is mandatory. Mandatory, read the words carefully. So, all the data, whatever is written here, you have to learn it carefully. Let's move ahead. Now, a few important days. Rather a lot many important days. World Environment Day is celebrated on 5th June. I found the theme very significant, and that is ecosystem restoration. Ecosystem restoration is the theme which was kept for this year's World Environment Day, that is observed on 5th June. When you read the lower point, it is about World Environment Day only. Global host of World Environment Day. Global host of World Environment Day for 2021. Pakistan has become the global host. Pakistan has become the global host for this year's World Environment Day. World Food Safety Day is observed on 7th June. World Food Safety Day is observed on 7th June. When I talk about the theme, I found the theme significant too. That is safe food now for a healthy tomorrow. Safe food now for a healthy tomorrow. That was the theme kept for 7th June's World Food Safety Day. World Milk Day. World Milk Day is observed on 1st June. World Day Against Child Labour. I hope you can actually understand the difference. World Day of Child Labour can't be celebrated. We are celebrating World Day Against Child Labour. I hope you can understand what I've written. It is observed on 12th June. Blood Donor Day is observed on 14th June. Be careful, I am saying 1st June Milk Day, Day Against Child Labour 12th June, 14th June when we celebrate World Blood Donor Day. So all the days are important. Let's move ahead. Now, another super important question, super relevant for you. RBI issues guidelines for amalgamation of district central cooperative banks with state cooperative banks. Read the words carefully. Some sort of amalgamation is happening. Amalgamation, that means I'm trying to convey here that some sort of merger is going to happen. So what will be merged with what? I'm saying district cooperative banks will be merged with state cooperative banks. I hope you can understand the difference when I use state or district. You can understand that district has to be the lower or the smaller entity, state has to be the bigger entity. So I'm saying district cooperative banks will be merged with state cooperative banks. But when such a situation is going to be there, when this thing can happen, so all these things are written here. Read them carefully. RBI issues guidelines for amalgamation of district cooperative banks with state cooperative banks. As part of what? It comes under what? As part of two-tier. Two-tier means district and state. District and state, two-tier, two levels. So two-tier short-term cooperative credit structure. As part of this, they'll be merged. The lower point, the lowest one states something else. It says that RBI to consider the proposal if it comes from state government and it is already examined by NABARD. See, we cannot merge any district cooperative bank with any state cooperative bank for no reason. We need to have a valid reason for the same. State government is going to present such a proposal to RBI, which has already been examined by NABARD, then only RBI will consider their merger. It cannot happen just like that. I'm saying to take such thing into consideration, RBI requires proposal from the state government, and this has to be passed by NABARD also. So there are stages to reach to the uppermost level. Let's move ahead. Scheme for orphan children. I hope you understand what we are going through, what kids have gone through. The kids who have actually become orphan, for those orphan children, this scheme PM Cares for Children has been launched. PM Cares for Children has been launched. What are the benefits that these children are actually going to receive? The first one, it states that monthly stipend on turning 18. Once they turn 18, once they become 18, monthly stipend will be given to them. Till the age of 23, what will happen? When they become 23, they'll get the amount of 10 lakh rupees. The fund of 10 lakh rupees will be given to these orphans. Free school education will be provided to these kids, and health insurance till 18 years of rupees 5 lakh will also be given to these kids. So please understand all these points. What scheme is about kids? PM Cares for Children is the scheme, and I told you when they actually turn 18, they'll receive stipend. At the age of 23, they'll receive 10 lakh and free school education and health insurance till the age of 18, up to 18 only, and the health insurance is of 5 lakh rupees. Let's move ahead. One time direct benefit transfer to about 11.8 crore students under midday meal scheme. Students used to attend schools. We all know that. Some midday meal scheme was there too, where kids used to have food in schools only. I hope you have heard about it. So midday meal scheme, under that scheme, because kids are actually not attending schools, so how they are actually going to feed themselves? It is very difficult for the parents to actually feed kids these days. So under this midday meal scheme, 11.8 crore students will be benefited. How much they are going to receive, that you need not count, because if you do that, you will come to know that each student will get only around 100 rupees only. 100 rupees, that means a little more than that, because if there were 12 crore students and they were receiving 1200 crores, it comes out to be 100 rupees. Outlay expenditure is 1200 crore. That means the government is going to spend 1200 crores on 11.8 crore students. It is going to be a bank transfer, yes, of course, and this money will not be given to them every day or every month. This is just the one time transfer from the side of government. They will be receiving around 100 rupees each student will be receiving under this midday meal scheme. See what is important here. 11.8 crore students will be benefited under midday meal scheme. Outlay, the expenditure is 1200 crore, that is important. It comes under Ministry of Education. So at the same time, you need to know the name of this fellow who handles this ministry, who's the minister here. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank is the Minister of Education. So read all these points, learn them carefully. Let's move ahead. The sad thing is that the fellow who started Chipko movement, he died. His name was Sundar Lal Bahuguna. This started in 1973. Chipko movement, Chipko Andolan in Hindi was started in 1973. It was a famous event. So I'm saying the fellow was the founder of Chipko movement, Sundar Lal Bahuguna. He died a few days back. He was a Padma Vibhushan. Let's move ahead. This question is super important. Let's take an example. You have your exam and you face such a question, where is Kuno National Park situated? And you think that this question is, from geography. We all know that, yes it is. But there's a possibility there are many national parks. We cannot learn the names of all. Why this question is, there in the exam? The reason is just here on your screen. Kuno National Park is in Madhya Pradesh. Why I am teaching you right here? The reason is cheetah is an extinct animal. It has, it is not there in India anymore. Cheetahs are not found here in India. We are getting cheetah from Africa. Yes, read that carefully. It is clearly written that extinct animal to be reintroduced in India from Africa. The name of that animal is cheetah, and cheetah will be brought here in Kuno National Park. And where Kuno National Park is situated, that is in Madhya Pradesh. I hope you've learned that. Let's move ahead. Sanjeev Kumar and Pooja Rani are associated with boxing. If such a question is asked, you must be thinking why these two are there in news, why they are point of discussion. The reason is they have actually won golds. Yes, Sanjeev Kumar and Pooja Rani. India received only two golds and at Asian Boxing Championship, which took place in Dubai. See, Asian Boxing Championship took place in Dubai. That means United Arab Emirates I'm referring to. The venue is important. Learn it like, keeping one question in your mind. The second thing is that Sanjeev Kumar and Pooja Rani, they won gold at this championship. What are they associated with? They are associated with boxing. So you have to learn it. You have to learn everything, whatever is written. Let's move ahead. RBI transfers rupees 99,122 crores, around 1 lakh crore surplus means extra. So they are transferring to government. RBI is transferring 99,122 crores surplus to government as dividend. Yes, so government is receiving dividend from RBI. RBI has kept contingency risk buffer also, and that is just 5.5%. Contingency, that means I'm referring to some sort of emergency. If there is any sort of emergency crops up, RBI needs to keep something with it as well. So they are keeping contingency risk buffer with themselves, and that is just 5.5%. Even that was the suggestion came from some committee to keep this much with you. So they are following those instructions too. Let's read, the lower point, which is going to be there in your exam for sure. Bimal Jalan Committee is associated with RBI's Economic Capital Framework. Bimal Jalan Committee is associated with RBI's Economic Capital Framework. So if somebody asks you what Bimal Jalan Committee is associated with, it is RBI's Economic Capital Framework. It is associated with RBI's Economic Capital Framework. CRB, that means contingency risk buffer. As per, that means it was suggested by Bimal Jalan Committee to keep 5.5 to 6.5% buffer with yourself. RBI has to keep this much with it. Rest, they are actually, giving as stipend to the government. And the amount is 99,122 crores. Let's move ahead. Prime Minister's scheme for mentoring young authors, that is YUVA. YUVA is the name of the scheme which is going to be there in your exam for sure. YUVA has some full form also. The full form is young because Y is young, U is upcoming, and versatile. V is versatile, A authors. YUVA means young authors. So they are planning to mentor young authors. That is why the scheme YUVA. Prime Minister's scheme, that is why this is important. I hope you can understand. This scheme comes under Ministry of Education. This has to, because it talks about mentoring of young authors. That is why it comes under Ministry of Education. And a few moments back, I taught you Ministry of Education, who's the Union Minister here, Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank, told you that. YUVA is a part of India at 75 project. If you can recall, I taught you a few videos back. Rather, I discuss such a thing often. India at 75 project. Although I did not use these words, but I think you can relate it. 75. India is going to complete 75 years of independence. That is why such a thing is celebrated. India at 75 project, 75 years of independence. So that is why, keeping that in mind, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav was taught by me many times. Now you can recall and relate. YUVA is the part of that project. YUVA is the part of that scheme. Let's move ahead. Cyclone Yas. Although I've taught you Yas as well, but the important part I wish to add here. If you have watched that video, you can actually understand what I'm teaching you, what is extra here. Cyclone Yas from Bay of Bengal. If you see the map of India, one side is Arabian Sea and the other side is Bay of Bengal. One side is Arabian Sea and the other side is Bay of Bengal. When I say Bay of Bengal, Yas, came from there. Cyclone Yas, Bay of Bengal hits coastal regions of, it has actually hit the coastal regions of West Bengal and Odisha. Cyclone Yas got its name from Oman. The question is super important. Please understand that the coastal areas, the name, where it came from, that is Oman. It has some meaning. The meaning is despair and disappointment. Please read that carefully. It has the meaning jasmine also. It is written at many places. Half of the places say it means jasmine flower, that means tree with fragrance, or despair or disappointment. So both the meanings have to be learned. Any meaning can be asked in your exam, so you have to learn it. Despair or disappointment, or jasmine flower, tree with fragrance. That's the meaning of the word Yas, which came as a cyclone in Bay of Bengal. Let's move ahead. Okay, something related with Niti Aayog has to be there in your exam, has to be asked. It has to be. Niti Aayog is important. So, Niti Aayog's Sustainable Development Goals. Niti Aayog's Sustainable Development Goals. India Index 2021. So, as per them, the states are there. The states are ranked. The number one rank was given to Kerala. It has to be, there. Kerala had to be on top. So, number one rank, Kerala. Number two rank collectively was given to Himachal Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Last rank was of Bihar. When you read Sustainable Development Goals, please understand that these ranks are given on the basis of looking at the development happening in these states or union territories. So, which state developed the most? That was Kerala. Which state did not develop that much? That was Bihar. So that is why they are ranking it like that. So number one union territory as per this index is Chandigarh. Let's move ahead. Unified Health Interface. Some digital health interface is there. It is to be developed as a part of National Digital Health Mission. As it is digital health mission, that means they are going to digitize your health records. They are going to digitize your health basically. So unified health interface, that means digital health interface is going to be launched under a scheme. The main scheme is National Digital Health Mission only, when you read the lower point, which states that unified health interface will be an open and interoperable IT network which can be accessed actually, that will allow users to search and avail healthcare services. If things are digital, if things are digitized, they can easily be accessed and you can avail healthcare services through that. So that's the purpose of this. Let's move ahead. Indian Navy's first destroyer. Yes, it is basically a missile destroyer, guided missile destroyer. The name is INS Rajput. Remained in Navy for 41 years. So after 41 years, it is going to be decommissioned. We bought it from USSR. We got it from USSR. INS Rajput. This was there, and recently it has been decommissioned. So INS Rajput stayed here for 41 years. Let's move ahead. The names, when they are changed, if any stadium or any state or any station, gets a new name, please understand such questions are also asked in your exam. So I am saying Mohali Hockey Stadium has been renamed as Olympian Balbir Singh. Mohali Hockey Stadium, you may have heard its name many times. It is very famous place, a very famous place rather. So Mohali Hockey Stadium is going to be renamed as Olympian Balbir Singh Senior International Hockey Stadium. Go Air's name will be changed too. It is going to be Go First now. If somebody asks you, it is owned by Wadia Group actually. Go First Airlines belongs to Wadia Group. Let's move ahead. Now, Shiv Shankar Menon. Why Shiv Shankar Menon is important? Right now, the rank which is held by Doval, he's our NSA, National Security Advisor, we all know that. So, that fellow, the rank which Doval is holding right now, that was actually held by Shiv Shankar Menon at one point of time. He was our erstwhile, as in he remained NSA too. So, this fellow is that important. Shiv Shankar Menon was our ex-NSA. Is our ex-NSA, and he has written a book. So as he has written a book, that book becomes important for us. The name of the book is India and Asian Geopolitics. India and Asian Geopolitics, the past, present. India and Asian Geopolitics, the past, present. That's the name of the book of Shiv Shankar Menon. When I actually look at the other book, which is written by Valeria Luiselli. Valeria Luiselli is from Mexico. She has won International Dublin Literary Award. International Dublin Literary Award won by this candidate for the book Lost Children Archive. Read the names carefully. Lost Children Archive. Valeria Luiselli, received the award, International Dublin Literary Award, and she is from Mexico. Let's move ahead. Princess of Asturias Award. Princess of Asturias Award, if you have not heard the name, this is basically the topmost award of Spain in social sciences. In social sciences, this is considered the topmost award in Spain. This award was given to Amartya Sen. He is a Bharat Ratna already. Princess of Asturias Award conferred on Amartya Sen. We all know him. He is that famous. The next point is about International ENI Award. Why this award is important? Why CNR Rao is important? CNR Rao is also Bharat Ratna like Amartya Sen, but he is related with science and scientific side. CNR Rao, I am saying International ENI Award was given to, for the year 2020 was given to CNR Rao. Why this ENI award is given is important. I was saying that it is considered the Nobel Prize in Energy Research. That is why it is that important. It is considered Nobel Prize in Energy Research. It is that huge. That ENI award was given to CNR Rao. Let's move ahead. Even these questions, we have come to an end of the video. This is going to be the last part. You can even make out the CBI director, the new CBI director, till the last question. We are only studying important questions and nothing, I'm discussing which is not important for you. CBI director Subodh Kumar Jaiswal. New CBI director Subodh Kumar Jaiswal. New CEO of Reserve Bank Innovation Hub is Rajesh Bansal. He is going to be the new CEO, Rajesh Bansal. You know what happens at times? When Rajesh Bansal is taught, they may ask you who's the chairman of Reserve Bank Innovation Hub. The name of the chairman, who's already the chairman, this is the fellow who's going to be the CEO, newly. Senapati Chris Gopalakrishnan. So Senapati Gopalakrishnan is the chairman of RBI Hub. That means Reserve Bank Innovation Hub. It is not that I. So Reserve Bank Innovation Hub's chairman Senapati Gopalakrishnan and new CEO Rajesh Bansal, CBI Director Subodh Kumar Jaiswal. Here I'm wrapping up. If you understood everything, you can press the like button. If you could not, you can switch to the Hindi video, and thanks for watching.